Chassidic Parashat. For the sake of heaven, in the rich mosaic of Jewish thought and tradition, the teachings of Pirkei Avos, ethics of our fathers, emerge as a beacon of moral clarity and wisdom. Among the myriad of lessons encapsulated within this revered text, the profound insights of chapter 5, verse 20, stand out as particularly significant. This verse states, "Any dispute which is for the sake of heaven will, in the end, endure. Any dispute which is not for the sake of heaven will not endure." The distinction drawn between noble and ignoble disputes not only captures the essence of intellectual honesty, but also serves as a guiding principle for scholarly discourse and communal harmony, reflecting the very nature of our relationships with one another and with truth itself. The Midrash Shmuel delves into the nature of disputes, framing them as a dynamic interplay of opposing opinions striving to reveal deeper truths. Here, disagreement transforms from a mere contest of wills into a collaborative endeavor, where each side, through fervent debate and reasoned argumentation, contributes to the unveiling of a more profound understanding of the subject at hand. Such a dispute, characterized by sincerity and an authentic quest for enlightenment, is deemed for the sake of heaven. This noble pursuit ensures the longevity of such dialogues and their resolutions, which become integral to the collective understanding of truth within the Jewish tradition. In this context, disputes serve not as destructive forces, but as catalysts for growth and illumination. The enduring legacies of the disputes between the sages Hillel and Shammai exemplify this principle beautifully. Their intellectual exchanges were not merely academic, they were infused with a spirit of respect and mutual reverence. Hillel, with his renowned humility and kindness, embodied the ideal of seeking truth through dialogue. He not only articulated his own perspectives, but also generously presented the views of Shammai, validating the latter's contributions to the discourse. This approach reflects a profound understanding that the pursuit of truth is best served in an atmosphere of openness and respect, where diverse opinions can coexist and enrich one another. The debates between these two schools of thought have transcended time, becoming a cornerstone of Jewish legal discourse and moral philosophy. In stark contrast, the dispute of Korach and his congregation serves as a cautionary tale, illustrating the destructive potential of arguments rooted in personal ambition rather than a sincere quest for truth. Korach's rebellion was marked not by a quest for justice or enlightenment, but by a thirst for power and a desire to undermine the divinely ordained leadership of Moses and Aaron. In its essence, this discord was not an intellectual exercise. It was a volatile manifestation of ego and discontent. Consequently, it did not endure. It dissolved into the annals of history, serving as a stark reminder of how self-serving disputes ultimately lack the power to contribute meaningfully to the collective legacy of the Jewish people. This narrative teaches us that disputes driven by personal agendas can lead not only to division, but also to the erasure of valuable truths and insights. The lasting impact of Hillel and Shammai's debates is further exemplified in the teachings of Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, who meticulously recorded opposing views within the Mishnah, even when the halacha did not align with certain opinions. This preservation of divergent thoughts signifies the recognition that even those viewpoints which are not ultimately upheld carry intrinsic value in the ongoing journey toward understanding. The very act of recording these disputes serves as a testament to the notion that truth is not a finite destination, but an evolving process, enriched by the contributions of many voices. The Mishnah thus stands as a monument to the rich tapestry of Jewish thought, capturing the essence of a community engaged in the pursuit of divine wisdom. The question arises, why then does halacha so frequently favor the views of Hillel? The Talmud elucidates that Hillel's approach was characterized by a spirit of kindness and humility. His willingness to acknowledge the validity of Shammai's perspectives exemplifies an essential principle in the pursuit of truth, that it is not merely the conclusion that matters, but the manner in which one engages with differing opinions. This ethos fosters an environment where truth can flourish, transcending the limitations of individual ego and ambition. Hillel's approach encourages a culture of constructive dialogue, where ideas can be freely exchanged and examined, allowing for an enriched understanding that benefits the entire community. Moreover, the acceptance of Hillel's rulings by Shammai and his followers, despite their initial opposition, underscores a remarkable commitment to communal integrity over personal pride. This humility in recognizing the authority of the law once established speaks volumes about the transformative power of genuine discourse. It is a reminder that the essence of dispute, when conducted for the sake of heaven, is not merely to arrive at a decision, but to cultivate a shared understanding that nurtures the soul of the community. The willingness to embrace a ruling, even when it diverges from one's personal belief, reflects an overarching commitment to the collective good, reinforcing the notion that truth and justice can transcend individual perspectives. As we reflect on these teachings, we must also consider their implications for contemporary society. In an age marked by polarization and discord, the lessons derived from the disputes of Hillel and Shammai, contrasted with the rebellion of Korach, resonate with striking relevance. The challenge today is not merely to engage in debate, but to ensure that our disagreements are rooted in a sincere desire to uncover truth and foster understanding. We are called to cultivate a culture of respectful discourse, where diverse opinions are welcomed and valued, and where the ultimate goal remains the pursuit of truth for the betterment of all. In conclusion, the teachings of Pirkei Avos regarding the nature of disputes offer profound insights into the moral fabric of Jewish life and the ethical dimensions of human interaction. The distinction between debates for the sake of heaven and those driven by self-interest serves as a guiding principle in our interactions, challenging us to elevate our discourse to heights that reveal truth and foster unity. As we engage in our own debates, whether in the study halls, our homes, or our communities, let us strive to embody the virtues of Hillel and Shammai, seeking truth with humility and reverence, nurturing a legacy that endures for generations to come. In this pursuit, we honor not only the wisdom of our sages, but also the very essence of our shared humanity, creating a world where truth, justice, and compassion reign supreme. Ultimately, it is this commitment to truth and understanding that will ensure that our disputes, when they arise, contribute positively to the greater narrative of human existence. Exploring the Hasidic insights of Parashat Korach, a journey through humility and divine intent. Parashat Korach, a significant and multifaceted portion of the Torah, presents a profound opportunity to explore themes of leadership, humility, and the essence of acting Shem Shemayim for the sake of heaven. This phrase encapsulates the highest level of intention derived from the Hebrew words Eish and Mayim. At first glance, fire and water appear to be opposing forces. They cannot coexist without one extinguishing the other. Fire may boil away water, and water can douse fire. Yet, the concept of Loshem Shemayim transcends these contradictions, suggesting that for a divine purpose, even the most unlikely forces can harmonize and collaborate. This principle serves as a reminder of the miraculous nature of intentions aligned with the divine will. The narrative surrounding Korach's rebellion against Moshe Rabbanu raises essential questions about the nature of disputes, genuine unity, and the underlying motivations that drive individuals in positions of leadership and influence. The Mishnah's reference to Korach and his entire congregation invites us to reflect on the collaborative yet misguided actions of 250 leaders who sought to challenge Moshe. Although Korach's grievances appear to center on Moshe's leadership, a deeper examination reveals that Moshe did not engage in the argument. Rather, it was a one-sided contention fueled by Korach's ambition and jealousy. The nature of disputes, a reflection of intent. The revered Rebbe Elimelech of Lezensk offers valuable insights into the dynamics of communal dissent. He teaches that when a community turns against its leaders, it is a reflection of their intentions. True leadership fosters a bond of respect, humility, and a shared purpose. However, Korach's uprising was rooted in personal ambition rather than a genuine desire for the betterment of the Jewish people. The Talmudic scholar Rashi notes that each member of Korach's assembly aspired to the position of high priest, indicating a lack of true unity and a collective spirit dedicated Loshem Shemayim. Their shared goal was not the elevation of the Jewish people, but rather individual glory, which ultimately leads to disunity and discord. This brings to light the importance of intentions behind our actions. True unity is founded upon shared values and a commitment to a higher purpose, rather than a mere alignment in opposition. When the only commonality among a group is a shared grievance, it is not a genuine unity, but rather a transient coalition that lacks depth. The essence of Loshem Shimeim cannot flourish in such an atmosphere of ambition and rivalry. Instead, it requires a foundation of humility, mutual respect, and a sincere commitment to the welfare of others. Humility versus arrogance, the struggle within the teachings of the SFA's aims, drawing from the insights of the holy Jew of Parshiska, further dissect the nature of opposition to righteous leaders. Often, detractors target the very qualities in a tzaddik that exemplify their perfection. The Baal Shem Tov articulates that these detractors arise from the husks shed during the tzaddik's pursuit of spiritual elevation. They are incapable of seeing beyond superficiality, failing to appreciate the depth of a tzaddik's character and the purity of their intentions. Korach's accusations against Moshe exemplify this tragic misperception. He deemed Moshe's humility as arrogance, a reflection of his own limited understanding. Moshe Rabbanu, described in Bamidbar 12:3 as the humblest of men, led a life dedicated to the welfare of his people, untainted by self-interest. Korach, blinded by jealousy and ambition, could not grasp the essence of true leadership. His perspective was not only superficial but also deeply flawed, leading to his eventual downfall. In Proverbs 12:4 it is written, "Jealousy causes the bones to rot," which aptly characterizes Korach's inner state. He lacked panemius, inner substance, and spiritual depth necessary for genuine leadership. The tests he faced, involving incense and the budding of the almond branch, symbolized the importance of inner rather than superficial qualities. When it came to evaluations that required true inner substance, Korach failed to measure up. His inability to appreciate the deeper spiritual essence of leadership ultimately sealed his fate. The illusion of self-perception, a lesson from Rabbi Dov Ber, a poignant story involving Rabbi Ber of Lubavitch, illustrates the transformative power of humility and the dangers of self-importance. During a visit to Yanovich, Rabbi Dov Ber encountered a Chassid who, despite his humble beginnings and challenging life, possessed a remarkable capacity for heartfelt prayer. This Chassid's self-deprecating remarks illuminated a profound truth. One's spiritual journey is not solely determined by their background or achievements, but rather by the depth of their intentions and the sincerity of their service to God. In a candid exchange, the Chassid remarked on the disparities between his life and that of Rabbi Dov Ber, suggesting that the latter's upbringing in a revered household had afforded him advantages that rendered his spiritual accomplishments less remarkable. The Chassid recounted his own life, one marked by simplicity and hardship, yet filled with sincerity in his devotion. As he laid bare the realities of his daily struggles, he expressed a deep sense of inadequacy in the face of Rabbi Dov Ber's elevated spiritual status. Rabbi Dov Ber, deeply moved by the Chassid's honesty, recognized the profound lesson in humility that this encounter offered. The young man returned home to his father and poured out his heart, lamenting the perceived inadequacies of his spiritual service. He was struck by the realization that true worth lies not in outward accomplishments, but in the authenticity of one's devotion to GD. This moment of reflection prompted him to reassess his spiritual state, inspiring a renewed commitment to serve with sincerity and humility. When the Chassid later visited Rabbi Shneur Zalman, he received affirmation for his role in awakening Rabbi Dov Ber's spiritual consciousness. The Rebbe expressed gratitude, noting, "I am most grateful to you. You have made a Chassid out of my barrel." This story exemplifies the notion that humility and sincere intentions can lead to profound transformations, even in those who perceive themselves as lacking. The path forward, embracing humility and authenticity. As we reflect on the lessons from Parashat Korach, we are reminded of the delicate balance between leadership and humility. The Chassidic interpretation urges us to explore the nature of our intentions and actions, prompting us to strive for authenticity in our spiritual pursuits. The juxtaposition of fire and water, representing opposing forces, illustrates that true harmony can only be achieved when our actions align l'shem shamayim. This alignment requires a commitment to humility, a willingness to recognize our limitations, and an understanding that our service to God should be rooted in sincerity rather than ambition. Kol haida kulam kiddishim, the whole community is holy, an in-depth exploration of leadership, spirituality, and human nature in the context of Korach's rebellion in the annals of Jewish thought. The profound declaration, Kol haida kulam kiddishim, the whole community is holy, emerges as a cornerstone of our understanding of collective sanctity and spiritual elevation. This sacred assertion is not merely a theological concept. It is an invitation to recognize the divine potential that resides within each individual, affirming the sanctity of communal life. The roots of this teaching are intricately woven into the narrative of Korach's rebellion, a pivotal moment in the weekly parasha that illustrates the timeless struggle between ambition and humility, equality and hierarchy, and the multifaceted nature of human existence. The dramatic events surrounding Korach's insurrection unfold in the aftermath of the Jewish people's failure to enter the Promised Land. Having endured the harsh realities of exile and hardship, they faced the daunting prospect of 40 years of wandering in the desert. It is within this context of disillusionment and uncertainty that Korach emerges, emboldened by a sense of grievance and a skewed interpretation of egalitarianism. His rebellion against the divinely appointed leadership of Moses and Aaron serves as a poignant reminder of the inherent dangers of ambition when untethered from the moral and spiritual foundations that ground true leadership. Korach's manipulation of the ideal of equality resonates deeply within the fabric of Jewish history and contemporary society. He sought to undermine Aaron's priestly lineage by rallying the people around the notion that all the congregation is holy. In doing so, he crafted a narrative that appealed to the frustrations of the masses, leveraging their discontent to fuel his quest for power. This phenomenon finds echoes in modern political landscapes, where demagogues often exploit similar sentiments, cloaking their ambitions in the guise of populism. The allure of equality can become a tool for manipulation, distorting the nature of leadership and undermining the very essence of communal responsibility. In examining Korach's actions, we must confront a critical question: what motivated his rebellion? The answer lies not only in his personal ambition, but also in the philosophical underpinnings of his worldview. Korach's disdain for Aaron and his quest for the priesthood were driven by a profound misunderstanding of the spiritual mission that leadership entails. He perceived the role of the priest as one of popularity and prestige, devoid of the burdens of true responsibility. In this sense, he represents a caricature of ambition, seeking to obtain a position of authority without the requisite understanding of its inherent obligations. It is worth noting that Korach strategically directed his animosity towards Aaron rather than Moses. This choice reveals a nuanced understanding of the dynamics of leadership. Moses, the quintessential leader, bore the weight of an entire nation's fate, navigating the treacherous terrain of divine command and human frailty. His role was fraught with challenges, requiring immense sacrifice and unwavering commitment. Korach, astute in his machinations, recognized that Moses' leadership was thankless and perilous, making it an unattractive target for his ambitions. Instead, he sought to undermine Aaron, believing that the allure of the priesthood would resonate more readily with the people. This dynamic raises another critical aspect of Korach's rebellion: the interplay between spiritual leadership and communal responsibility. The essence of true leadership, particularly in the spiritual realm, lies not in the pursuit of power, but in the willingness to shoulder the burdens of the community. Moses' leadership exemplifies this principle. He often found himself in the position of mediator, interceding on behalf of the people before God. His declaration, "I cannot carry this entire nation by myself," encapsulates the weight of responsibility that accompanies spiritual leadership, a burden that few are willing to bear. The high priestly role, as Korach envisioned it, appeared attractive due to its potential for popularity, yet it lacked the depth of responsibility that defines genuine spiritual service. Korach's worldview was fundamentally flawed, rooted in a lack of faith in the divine orchestration of events. His skepticism regarding the authenticity of Moses' leadership and the sacred mission of the Israelites blinded him to the true nature of spiritual authority. He failed to recognize that the spiritual journey is fraught with challenges, and that the consequences of missteps in this realm can reverberate far beyond the immediate moment. Spiritual leadership is not merely a position. It is a profound responsibility that impacts the very souls of individuals and the collective conscience of the community. At the heart of Kol Haida Kulam Kiddishim lies an imperative for communal engagement and shared responsibility. This declaration challenges us to transcend the superficial divisions that often fragment our societies and to recognize the inherent sanctity within each individual. It calls upon us to cultivate a culture of respect and appreciation for diversity, where every voice is valued and every contribution is acknowledged. The holiness of the community is not predicated on uniformity. Rather, it flourishes when each member brings forth their unique gifts and talents, enriching the collective experience. In our contemporary world, where polarization and division abound, the message of Kol Haida Kulam Kiddishim takes on renewed significance. It serves as a clarion call to foster unity in diversity, inviting us to engage with one another in meaningful ways that honor our shared humanity. The essence of communal holiness lies in our ability to uplift one another, to recognize the sacredness of every individual, and to work collaboratively toward a common good. As we reflect upon the lessons of Korach's rebellion, we are reminded of the delicate balance between ambition and humility, the importance of responsible leadership, and the profound interconnectedness that binds us all. The narrative serves as a timeless reminder that true spiritual leadership is not about wielding power for personal gain, but rather about embracing the responsibilities that come with guiding others. It invites us to cultivate a community that honors the sanctity of every individual while recognizing the unique roles they play in the grand tapestry of existence. In conclusion, Kol Haida Kulam Kiddishim encapsulates a vision of a holy community, united in purpose and elevated in spirit. It challenges us to embrace the understanding that sanctity is not confined to a select few, but is a universal attribute that belongs to the entire collective. As we strive to elevate ourselves and our communities, may we carry forward the lessons of the past, fostering a space where every voice is heard, every gift is celebrated, and the sanctity of the whole is cherished. In doing so, we honor the legacy of our ancestors, affirming the divine potential that resides within each of us, and illuminating the path toward a more holy and harmonious existence. Through our collective efforts, we can create a vibrant community that reflects the ideals of Kol Haida Kulam Kiddishim, transforming our shared journey into one that is marked by mutual respect, spiritual growth, and a deep commitment to the sacredness of life itself. Let us aspire to be the bearers of this message, weaving it into the very fabric of our lives, and nurturing a society where every individual can contribute to the holiness of the whole.